Hi, my name is Jack Jones, and that's me sitting in the frozen lake. Here I am climbing a mountain with no coat. Why am I doing this? Because of a crazy Dutch man named Wim Hof. I first discovered Wim Hof 2 years ago from a link on Reddit that showed this crazy man setting a world record for swimming under a frozen lake. And that led me down the YouTube rabbit hole where I watched Wim stay submerged in ice water for 73 minutes. I watched him run a full marathon in the Arctic Circle, shirtless and barefoot, and I watched him make a bunch of crazy sounding claims about how he can consciously control his immune system and how he can generate body heat at will.
This is a mind exercise to become every day able to connect yourself with the body in a way to control hormonal secretions. That means adrenaline, serotonin, melatonin, all the good stuff in your body under your control, which makes you strong and happy, and the energy level because of breathing exercises and deeper breathing more effectively, which brings about the connection of the brain with the body, thus controlling your good feeling, your happiness, your strength, and your energy.
I came across the Wim Hof method again this year when I read Scott Carney's new book, What Doesn't Kill Us. Scott is an investigative journalist who spent 6 months practicing and researching the Wim Hof method, and I won't spoil the ending for you, but it's a good book, and it had enough guidance on the method from anecdotes from Scott and others who found the method to be beneficial, and that it convinced me to give cold exposure another try. And the timing was perfect because I already had plans to go out to Colorado to spend a week house sitting a cabin in the mountains in the dead of winter. My goal with the Wim Hof method is to see what effect it can have on depression, whether it can improve my energy, and whether I can consciously control my immune system in order to alleviate the symptoms of seasonal allergies. I started by incorporating his breathing routine into my morning meditation. I found some surprising results in my first week. After my first 4 rounds of breathing, I felt a marked improvement in my mood and my energy, and I would say I went from being mildly depressed to not being depressed at all, and actually felt a little bit euphoric. And I found that practicing the breath work really helped me take cold showers. So I would still feel the cold when I stepped into the shower, but it was a different kind of feeling than other times before where I've tried to take cold showers. So this time I tried to focus on relaxing my body, I tried to focus on my breath, and you would still feel the cold, but it wasn't an overwhelming sensation where my mind was just thinking, get out of this, get out of this, get out of this. It was much more tolerable, and so I was actually able to stay in a cold shower for a couple of minutes, even on my very first attempts this week. My plan to test the method out in Colorado hit a small snag because I picked up a cold 2 days before leaving for the trip, but I decided to push through it anyway because one of the claims that Wim Hof makes is that his method can help boost your immune system. As we drove into Estes Park, I saw an ice-covered lake, and I made a split-second decision to go jump in that lake because part of the method is to really commit yourself fully and to dive headfirst into your fear, into your pain, and into the cold, and really to not let your anxiety or your fear keep you back. There's still ice all along the bank. Gotta do it. It is icy. Good start. Glad I did it. We'll see if at the end of the trip I can stay in for longer than, like, what was that, 10 seconds? Yeah. Okay. So it's Saturday, we've been in Colorado for 2 days now, and I'm out here practicing the breathing method. I didn't do anything on Thursday or Friday because I've had a bit of a cold, so I was kind of fighting some little cold something, And I think driving all night on Wednesday night it kind of wrecked my immune system a little bit, and then I was fairly sick Thursday and Friday. Now I'm feeling a little better today, so now I'm out here doing the breathing method. It's a little bit warmer than I had hoped it would be for February in Colorado. It's a really nice day. It's probably in the low 40s right now. You can see there's still a little bit of snow behind me, but it's really not nearly as cold as I hoped it would be. But I think it'll still get some good adaptation out here. I can already feel the cold air settling in. So just gonna start out and do a couple rounds of deep breathing. Let me get my timer set up. Gonna sit out here for 31 minutes and see how it is in the cold. And yeah, I don't know if you can hear, my nose is really congested. One thing I've noticed doing the breathing method is that after I breathe 3 or 4 rounds, the congestion kind of goes away, so we'll see what happens here. But as of now, I'm going to breathe through my mouth. Okay, one more round. This time I'm going to try the brown fat activation technique of tensing all of my muscles and then bringing the blood all the way up to the back of my head, the base of my neck, and trying to activate my brown fat. So according to Wim Hof, if you do that correctly, you're going to feel a real burst of energy and heat starting right there, which sounds a little bit crazy, but we'll see what happens. I do notice a little bit more warmth radiating out from the base of my neck. It's hard to tell if that's placebo or just because I had my muscles all tensed, but I do actually feel better already. I'm breathing a little bit better through my nose. Still congested, but it doesn't seem to be as bad as it was. I don't feel cold. That's really nice. Now I'm gonna sit in front of the fire and play Hearthstone and get warm. We're out here in Rocky Mountain National Park. It is about 30 degrees. We're climbing up to Emerald Lake. Actually started getting hot, so I'm gonna go climb in just my t-shirt. So it's about 30 degrees. You can hear the wind blowing through, probably 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, and we're at an elevation of 11,000 feet. So I'm gonna start this at 3 o'clock. We'll see how long I can go before I get too cold. We've been going for about 25 minutes. We're getting up to this little ravine or gulch or whatever it is, and now my hands and my arms are starting to get pretty cold and tingly. So I think at this point it's a good idea to just call it and put on some clothes, because we are out in the middle of nowhere and it's good to respect nature and not push the limits too far. But actually it hasn't been too bad. My core's been nice and warm, even though the wind is blowing. It's probably like a 10 or 15 degree wind chill, but I've stayed nice and warm. Made it down the mountain alive. I was actually a little bit concerned about my fingers when we turned around up at that really windy spot. At that point I was starting to lose feeling in my fingers and my arms, and they were getting tingly and then turning blue. But actually it was really interesting, because as soon as we turned around and as soon as I put this one layer on, so it's just my t-shirt in this mid layer, which it's not super heavy, it's not built for super cold weather, but as soon as we turn around, immediately I felt blood coming back into my hands, and so they hurt really bad for about 10 minutes, but after that they pretty much restored all their function and were warm and didn't hurt again. So I think that was a proof that all the cold conditioning that I've been doing the last few days is actually doing something. Okay, stopwatch has started. Yep, it's really cold. It hurts way more than the mountain. Sitting all the way down. Everything's becoming tingly. Okay, I think that's enough. It really hurts. My whole body is tight. Oh my God. Literally every muscle in my body is just tight right now. I really can't. This is all I can do with my fingers. I don't have any finer muscle movement. It's odd, I don't really feel cold. I just feel everything is tightened up. Okay, so that was 2 minutes, 20 seconds. So maybe fully in the water for what, a minute and a half? Which isn't terrible. Much better than the first day. Feels warm out here. I don't feel my cold at all now. I feel great. Lots of endorphins. The breathing routine is to take 30 rapid breaths. The breaths should be full belly breaths followed by a quick exhale for about half of the air in your lungs. In Scott Carney's book, he says to let the air escape your lungs effortlessly, so you're not trying to force the air out. You just want to take a nice, full, deep belly breath and then kind of let the air escape on its own, and then follow that up with another nice, full, deep belly breaths for a total of 30 breaths. So what that feels like is you're taking in a deep, deep breaths, and then you're just kind of letting about half the air in your lungs just escape naturally, and you're following that up with more deep breathing. After you take your 30 breaths, you want to completely let all of the air out of your lungs. So blow all the air from your lungs. And then the goal here is to stay focused in a meditative state and to connect to your body. And when I do this, I feel tingly all over. And I believe that's caused by the flood of oxygen from basically hyperventilating yourself. And then Wim says you're supposed to push energy towards the parts of your body that aren't energized. So I take this, and what I do is I visualize the tingly energy flowing into parts of my body that don't feel tingly. And so what you'll do now is you'll hold your breath like this for as long as you can, and what you want to do is wait until the gasp reflex kicks in. So wait until your chest starts to convulse, and from here, what you're trying to do is just stay nice and relaxed. So what's happening when you are telling yourself to relax is you are actually using your conscious mind to affect the automatic reflex of your autonomic nervous system. And in his book, Scott Carney calls it the wedge, which is literally using your conscious mind to drive a wedge between those automatic reflexes of your autonomic nervous system and what you want your body to do. And so the idea of the wedge is really kind of central to the Wim Hof method, because what you're trying to do here is to use your conscious mind to start taking control of a lot of these actions that are previously regulated by our autonomic nervous system.
This is the exercise with the shower. The shower exercise is to train the cardiovascular system. We got muscles everywhere in the system. I'm 100,000 kilometers, so we are going to trigger it. How? How? By not choking when you go into a cold shower. In the beginning, of course, of the course, you go from the heat to the cold. Your body learns to adapt. I mean, the veins learn to adapt. And they are triggered, the muscles work, and in a couple of days it's bearable. You can do it because the condition elevates. What should you do? Have mental focus. I'm gonna do this wholeheartedly. I'm not there with my mind. I'm right over here. So keep your control by referring to your breath. Steady. It's your control.
It is day 21 of the Iceman Challenge, and today I'm going to take an ice bath because I wasn't super happy with how long I stayed in the water in Colorado and I didn't get fully submerged. So now I bought a 20-pound bag of ice and we're just going to fill up my bathtub with cold water, pour the ice in, and then get in and see how long I can stay. The tub is, right now, it is at 60 degrees. We'll dump in all this ice. I am already starting to get nervous. We'll let the ice rest for another 2 or 3 minutes. Let it get real cold and then jump right in. Oh, I'm really nervous. All right, I'm feeling nervous, energized. It's really hard to crane my neck around, so I better just get in. Starting my time. Goal is 5 minutes. Oh, that's cold. Oh my God. It's not as cold as that ice lake, but wow, it is cold. Most of the ice is melted now. It is reading right at 45 degrees. So that's pretty cold. And what I didn't do in Colorado was get all the way under. Oh, that's cold. Okay, now I need to relax my body. I'm overflowing the tub here. Relax my body. Consciously control my shiver reflex. Focus on my breath. Okay, the cold's not so bad now. I'm losing water. Boy, this is cold. All my muscles are tightened up again. Starting to shiver. It's hard to control that reflex. It's really too soon to come to a conclusion about the Wim Hof method, but I do think that there's a lot of merit to the idea that our bodies can adapt to much more extreme temperatures than we are exposed to on a daily basis. There is evidence from around the world that we could have an innate ability to withstand cold and withstand extreme cold temperatures because there's a practice in Tibetan Buddhism called Tummo meditation or inner fire meditation. And let me read you a quote from a Harvard study. It says, during visits to remote monasteries in the 1980s, Benson and his team studied monks living in the Himalayan mountains who could, by doing Tummo meditation, raise the temperature of their fingers and toes by as much as 17 degrees. 17 degrees, that's massive. So I'm very hopeful that this practice will lead to more results. I have found that it is good for depression, it is good for raising my energy and improving my mood, and it is good for withstanding cold temperatures. Alright, let's go. Whoops, kept my glasses on. Okay, that is 7 minutes, 12 seconds. That's good enough. The water temperature reading at 42 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's cold. It's cold. Oh man, you know what? I feel good. I feel really energized. I feel really awake, really alert. And I'm happy that I faced another fear. I think out of all this, that's what I'm most happy with, is that I was able to face the fear of the cold and to just charge head forward and go into it and not let this fear, discomfort, fear of cold keep me back from trying this experiment. Oh, I'm starting to shiver real bad. All right, I gotta get out of here. 8 minutes. 8 minutes, not bad.